Hello Year 6, welcome to Tuesday's English lesson. So today we're going to begin to develop a vivid setting description. Yesterday you were introduced to the video Ruin, and we're going to continue to work with that this week and today. So your success criteria today, I want you to be able to use a range of descriptive techniques to describe a setting. Take into account all the senses in order to really immerse a reader, and vary the ways that you open sentences to engage a reader. Now that is going to probably fulfill the key element of today's lesson, is that use of the different ways to open sentences. It said a vivid setting description in the yellow, and that is because we want to think about how we're going to really paint the picture for our audience. Every time we write, remember, we're writing for an audience, not for the simple nature of doing a piece of writing. So we want this to be vivid. They won't be able to see what you see. They can't see the film, they can't see the pictures. We want you to paint that picture in their mind. And that is what we mean by writing a vivid setting description. So, to start you off again, you might want to pause this video now and go and do this, or you might want to do it at the end. But I want you to watch the first 40 seconds again of the video Ruin. Pause at different points. I've made some suggestions, 27 seconds, 34, 38, and 40 seconds. However, you might want to just pause at different points for you. And I want you to really look at that setting. What are your thoughts about the setting? What has happened in order to create the setting? What has happened in order to end up where we are? Okay, use your inference and deduction skills. Now, if you watch the entire video, it's not a problem. But if you do want to really focus in on the bits we're using today, focus on that first 40 seconds. That is absolutely essential as well for the task, that the task you do is linked to the first 40 seconds, not the whole video. Okay, so today's aim is to plan out your setting description. Tomorrow, you'll be writing a vivid setting description. So today, we're going to look at a planning format that's going to help you map out your setting description. The planning format will allow us to take account of the sentence structures, the different sentence structures, before we actually get to the stage of paragraphing and writing in chunks. Okay, we're going to look at the planning format carefully together today, and that will then help you to complete the task. Now, this is the point where I would suggest, if you haven't already, get your sheet for today's lesson with you, because this is exactly what your sheet's going to look like, just without the red writing. Okay, it will look like this table, but without the red writing there. We're going to use a planning format called DAD waivers. And DAD waivers is a mnemonic that allows us to plan for varying sentence structures and openers. And this will help us as writers to really engage our audience. So there's different sentence structures. I'm going to go through what each one means, and then on the next slide, and I think the slide after that as well, I've got some examples that you will be able to magpie from and use. So if you don't understand everything I say here, have a look at the examples as well before trying to worry about whether you're going to understand what to do. So a description. This would be a sentence that begins with description, with adjectives. A great opportunity to use a two-way sentence. Action, a sentence beginning with action, something happening. It doesn't have to be anything extreme, but it just needs something taking place. Dialogue, so a sentence beginning with speech. Accurately punctuated is really important, but it does not have to be a full back and forth conversation between different people. Where things are, so a sentence giving some detail as to where things are in the scene. Adverb or adverbial phrase, so a sentence beginning with an adverb or an adverbial phrase, detailing how things are happening or will happen. A verb, begin the sentence with a verb, so a really good opportunity to use a word that ends in ing to open your sentence. Something being done or happening. Estimation of time, a sentence starting with some reference to time, and you'll see when you look at my example, it doesn't have to be anything complicated. Okay. A rhetorical question, so use a rhetorical question for a sentence. So that is a question that doesn't necessarily require a response. It's not some form of dialogue. It's showing what maybe your character is thinking or helping the audience think about what's going on. And then finally, using figurative language, so a sentence that includes a simile or metaphor. So I've had a go at putting this into practice. So again, if you've got your sheet, fantastic. Have a look at how I've done this and how you can then magpie some of my ideas and use them to create your own. So description, I said two-way sentence, so I've opened with two adjectives. Tall and splintered. Thick tree trunks towered above the city streets. Nothing complicated, But can you see, as you look down, you will see that each sentence starts in a slightly different way. Action. Thud. A heavy tree branch fell to the floor, missing him by only inches. The thud, bit of onomatopoeia to really grab the audience's attention, and then what has happened to cause the thud. Keeping it simple, nothing overcomplicated there. Dialogue. Hello, he called, but no response came. Hello, he called again. So very simple, but can you see that it's starting off our sentences with dialogue, with speech. We've got proper punctuation in the right place as well. Magpie that, if nothing else. If you need to remind yourself how to punctuate dialogue, have a look at that. Where things are. Across the street, a lonely fox foraged through the debris of what was once a bakery. So all we're doing is just giving some detail to what's around our character, to what's around us in this setting. Across the street. Very simple. It gives us an idea of how far it might be, and it also gives us an idea of where in relation to us and our character. Adverb or adverbial phrase. So I've chosen to use the word cautiously as my adverb. Cautiously, whilst breathing deeply, he peered out from his hiding place. Was anyone else there? So how has he done it? He's done it cautiously, and that is my adverb. Verb. So I suggested using an ing word, and that's exactly what I've done. Walking slowly along the sidewalk. He was still struggling to comprehend where he was and what had happened. Estimation of time, and again, it doesn't have to be anything specific. At 9:26, it doesn't have to be that specific. Just have a look at how I've done. As minutes passed, his vision became clearer, and the heavy buzzing in his ears seemed to ease. Rhetorical question. I've given you 2 examples, and there's also another one in the adverb or adverbial box. Was he alone? Had anyone else survived the apocalyptic event? Those aren't questions that require a response. They are there to make your audience think. And then finally, simile or metaphor. Well, I've gone for a simile. So I've used like. Like veteran soldiers, the shells of the skyscrapers remained upright and strong against the backdrop of destruction surrounding them. So that is exactly what I'm looking for from you. Now, for your main task, you need to do exactly the same thing for the table that you have. Don't overcomplicate it. I would suggest one of 2 things. Have either a paused picture of the scene up on your computer or on your screen, whatever you're using, or alternatively, pause on this screen and use those examples, alter them to suit your writing. Don't just copy them, but use the picture of the setting and use these, magpie some ideas, and use the sentence structure. Just change the wording. Okay? This will make a massive difference for tomorrow's work. It will really help make your work high quality tomorrow. Right, well, good luck. And if you need any support, send me some messages on either Seesaw or Class Dojo.